Hello, hello. This is CARLA Michelle, your host of the Strong Network podcast. And it is another day, another opportunity for you to hear my voice. And hopefully the goal is that you are encouraged, that you are cultivated, strengthened, and propelled to your next level, whether it's in mind or actually in body. That you're achieving all that you want to do and all that you want to experience by something that is said in this podcast. Once again, I am a coach and a consultant with a background as a marriage and family therapist and a business psychologist. So this is where I go ahead and mix in some of the mindset that it takes to just live this life, whether it professionally or personally. And that's what you get from me here at the Strong Network. So as we move forward, how are you? How are you doing? What's happening in your life that you are so proud of? What is happening in your life that you want to change? What is happening in your life that you feel that you have no power over? I would like you to take that thought of what you think you feel you don't have any power over and check in and really see that, is there another way that you can work out what you're facing? Is there someone who can support you in working out what you are facing? Is there something, and what can help you think outside of the box if what you are facing seems to be winning? So there's a couple of questions for you. I want to talk about rejection. Rejection. You know, there's so many times when we begin a new year. I mean, we're pumped, we're hyped, a lot of us are just ready and raring to go. We're like, hey, this year is different than the last year. I'm going to make it happen. And then someone shared, I thought this was very interesting. Someone shared January 19th is the date that the majority of people give up on their New Year's resolutions. 19 days. And they're done. And I don't know if I said this in the other podcast that I created, but I tell you, I am just kind of thrown back by that. Just 19 days and we're ready just to give up and give in. And, you know, I can see why. When I think about rejection, it is something that makes you want to give up. It's something that tests your strength of pursuing your dreams and your goals. Rejection is no fun. It's just not the best thing that you want to experience in your life. How do you handle rejection? How do you go through it? What does rejection make you feel like? What does rejection do to the actions of you moving forward? What does rejection do to your thought process? What does rejection do to your relationships? What does rejection do to your employment? What does rejection do to your company, your organization that you're overseeing? Rejection can be your friend or rejection can be your enemy. I would like you to see rejection as someone who comes into your life to not put you down, to not make you feel less, but comes into your life, one, to strengthen your abilities to hear a no or not right now or never and still be able to move forward. Rejection is almost could be looked at as a guide of guide through life, a guide through circumstances and situations that you face that at times rejection can steer you away from something that's really not for you. And when we're rejected by something that we really want and then discover years later that, you know what, I'm glad that didn't happen. You can see how rejection can almost be that best friend at times, that honest friend, that one that tells you the truth about where you are, where you're at presently, and I don't want to say where you're going, but where you are presently and what needs not to happen right now. Sometimes the best rejection I've ever gotten is the ones, well, not at the time, but I look back and I'm really like, I am so glad that was a no. I am so glad that didn't work out. I am so glad that person, sadly, is no longer in my life, but I understand why. So understand the reason behind rejection. Understand in everything, there is a purpose and there is a time. So let's just get down to some points. Rejection is something that is really not meant to hold you back. And people fear rejection and because they say, if I'm rejected, okay, let me back up. Let me say this right. Fear of rejection stops people from moving forward. I want to say it that way. Fear of rejection stops you from moving forward. The actual fear of rejection, not rejection. Fear of it happening, a fear of being rejected. So you don't go out and look and go for that job you want. You don't get that promotion. You don't go for that promotion. Rejection has already convinced you not to try for that relationship again. Remember how many times you've been hurt. Remember that lies. Remember the deception. And that's that in some form. Being lied to is a form of rejection. To be tricked is a form of rejection. So a lot of times we fear rejection or the pain of rejection. And so we stop before we even start. You gotta give each and every moment in your life their moment. You gotta give each moment in your life their moment. And you cannot let the fear of tomorrow, the fear of a no tomorrow stop you from living the moment today. Live the moment today. Don't be afraid of someone's no, someone's not right now, you're not a fit, someone you're not the one. Don't let any type of thoughts that you have about rejection and your future stop you presently. Another interesting thing is they say, whoever they is, have you ever felt, let's make it personal, that for those of you who push yourselves to go beyond the no's, to go beyond the not right nows, do you see that rejection has made you stronger? That rejection has tightened those muscles to help you move through rejection at a faster pace? So rejection can also be like a numbers game. Like pretty soon you're going to understand that you're going to get a yes, right? I think there's someone that it says 10, and I don't know who's came up with this, but I've heard this, 10 no's. You need 10 no's before you get a yes. So a lot of courses people teach, like if you're into sales and real estate, they'll say call 10 potential clients a day, because then you are, one, you're doing your marketing. Two, you're going to get to a yes. When you're every day calling at least 10 people, some have 25, and you figure you get 1 or 2 leads onto the next step by making 10 to 25 calls a day. I don't know how you feel about that, but there is some truth in going through that motion of cold calling and getting out there and interviewing. Interviewing is like cold calling in person. That's how I see it. An interview is like a cold call in person. And you're just shooting your shot and wondering if they're going to choose to work with you and hire you. But rejection, the more you have it, the stronger you are. You cannot allow rejection to measure your worth. You cannot allow rejection to measure your worth. One more time. You cannot allow rejection to measure your value, your worth, your input, your potential. You cannot let it. You cannot let it measure your worth. I had a thought, man. I think about, because you can always go use dating as an example. And I remember in high school really, really liking somebody. And they wasn't into me. I was not the one for them at that time. But it's so funny. I can meet them. I've talked to them decades later. Oh, and there's all this interest. Yeah, whatever. But the point of rejection, it should not measure your value or your worth. Because in time, someone may understand your value and worth. And just because they don't see it at that moment doesn't mean you stop and you start agreeing with what their thoughts are about you. Because rejection, and we'll touch on this a little bit more as I go through this list, is not personal. Rejection is not personal. People reject you based on where they are in their life, what they need in their life, what they think about their life, what they want for their lives. Rejection is not personal about you all the time. Rejection is because somebody has something in their head that maybe you don't meet, but that doesn't mean you're less than. That means they just got something else on their mind, and your goal should be to connect with that person that has somebody like you on their mind. So do not let rejection be the measure of your value. Okay? Don't let it be the sole reason why you give up on your entire life for a small percentage of rejection that you feel. And don't run away from it. Don't be scared of the no. I was going to ask you, but I knew you would probably say no. Well, if you're talking to me, you're probably knowing you probably pushed past the fear of rejection because you're actually having a conversation with me. But when someone says that, I know you're going to say no, but, I think that's great because you've pushed through rejection of the thought of the possible rejection, and you're going to shoot your shot anyway. Love it. Yes, go for it. Rejection is just a action, but it changes all the time. Someone can reject you today, and then maybe later on today, someone else will accept you. So what's the merit behind rejection? There is none. It just has no real weight to it. So don't run away from the no. I know it's painful. I know it hurts you. I know it makes you angry. I know it can work at your confidence, but you can handle it. You can handle it. Be confident, be engaging with who and everyone around you, be collaborative, figure it out. Use everything in you to remain confident, and use everything within you to remain consistent, and use everything in you to maximize the possibilities of that yes that you're looking for. Another thing I think is so good is wondering why. Why were we rejected? What is it? One, I have to go back to you never know what someone else is looking for, needed, or expecting. So you never know. In all areas of life, you never know why someone said no. Said no to being your sponsor, said no to being your mentor, said no to be working with you, working for you, quitting. You never know what people are doing. Maybe there is some measure of unhappiness when someone quits a job, But usually it's because someone has a bigger plan or a better plan or another plan. And maybe the job they have now, bosses, I'm talking to you, is no longer fits. It no longer fits. There's something happening and it no longer fits. Is that rejection? I think we should celebrate the desire for someone to grow bigger and better, because that's what this world should be about. So rejecting a position, rejecting working for you, it is not always personal. Now, I'm going to say this. If you got there's a lot of people quitting on you and not wanting to work with you, you might need to do some work and figure out what is happening with your leadership style and the way in which you are interacting with people. We still got to do that work. But rejection is, like I said, then hey, that makes rejection your friend, because rejection could also point out there's work that you need to do and take the time to do the work that needs to be done in order to not always be on the receiving end of rejection. So I want to say this, ask why. Ask your why. If you've been rejected and you want to know why, ask why. Get the feedback. If it's a job interview and you felt rejected, ask why. See if you can get some input. I've been on interviews. There's a lot. I have more yeses than I've had no's. And I look back at the no's and I would have been mad at the position, because why do we do this? Why do we go for positions that really are, what's the word? I don't want to say beneath. I don't want to say beneath, because it's not about being beneath us, but doesn't use all of our skill set. And then we get mad. You were playing small when you went for that job, and then mad when you got rejected. Come on, you got too much experience, but I just want a chance. Okay, you want a chance, but maybe your chance is in thinking bigger instead of smaller, because you think playing small is safer. No. People see when you're playing small. People see when you don't see your value. And then they don't want you to wake up and see your value in the midst of them after you've been hired for, 60 days. And you're like, you know what? I'm over this. I'm not doing. They don't want that, because they want to hire somebody who fits. So it's not rejection in a bad way. It's a rejection of see yourself. See how great you are. Go out and get something bigger. So we have that. So another thing is, be invincible. Be invincible. Let the no's fill up your superpower suit with confidence. Let it be a reverse process that happens. You hear a no, and it just kind of does its magic and becomes a part of your armor of confidence and being convinced of what you have and your value, and that you're on the right track. And those rejections are just little guides that are pushing you towards the very place that you want and desire to be. Be invincible, because rejection is only an opinion. Rejection is only someone's opinion that they have chosen to make. But it doesn't mean that you have to carry it, wear it, be it. You do not have to be rejected. That is not a title that you need to carry, because rejection is a guide to the very life and the very place that you desire to be. So welcome it, wear it, convert it to confidence in your next step, and keep moving forward. Rejection is real, but it does not have the power, all the power that you're giving it. It's not worth it. Change the rejection to confidence, and remember, rejection is a friend guiding you to where you need to go. Alrighty, this is Carla Michelle. And as always, if you have any questions, you want to hang out. You can go ahead and send me an email at hello@drcarlainc.com. hello@drcarlainc.com. If you follow me on Instagram, I'm at Miss Carla Michelle, MSCARLA Miss Carla Michelle. And come on, say something to me. I love it. I love responding. I love hearing what's going on in your life. I love hearing how you're enjoying the podcast or anything else that I'm doing. It is a great time and a great opportunity to be great today. And I wish you the very best. All right. Take care.